So it's official, it looks like Nintendo has responded to the recent drifting Joy-Con issue, and Nintendo officially made a statement about the whole matter. At Nintendo, we take great pride in creating quality products, and we are continuously making improvements to them. A representative from Nintendo told Kotaku in response to questions about Joy-Con drift, "We are aware of recent reports that some Joy-Con controllers are not responding correctly. We want our customers to have fun with the Nintendo Switch, and if anything falls short of this goal, we always encourage them to visit support.nintendo.com so we can help you." So you can see right there from Nintendo, Nintendo did officially make a statement about the drifting Joy-Con issue, but you can see they kind of beat around the bush. I wonder if the only reason Nintendo actually made this statement is because of that whole lawsuit that is hanging over Nintendo's head officially about the drifting Joy-Con issue, and it may seem as well that Nintendo actually doesn't have a solution to the problem. That's why they're pretty much beating around the bush. Honestly, again, I don't even know if Nintendo would even have made this statement if it wasn't about that whole lawsuit that recently just came out about the drifting Joy-Con issue, because as we speak right now, the biggest flaw with the Nintendo Switch is the drifting Joy-Con issue, and it's actually funny that the drifting Joy-Con issue has been around for quite some time. It's just now, for whatever the case may be, it's starting to get popular, and a lot of people are understanding it. A lot of people are talking about it. I don't know why that is the case when we've had this problem for quite some time, but yes, it is an issue on the Nintendo Switch, and it absolutely sucks that a lot of people out there are experiencing Joy-Con drifting issues with the Nintendo Switch's Joy-Con, because that is primarily the main way you do control the Nintendo Switch. So if your Joy-Cons are going to start drifting, that absolutely sucks, and Nintendo does need to address this. Honestly, what would I recommend Nintendo doing? I think at this point, as big as it is, you may not be experiencing drift yourself, but as big as this problem actually is, I would honestly recommend Nintendo doing some type of recall. I know it may sound crazy to some of you because not everybody is experiencing Joy-Con drift, but I've seen so many people complain about Joy-Con drift. I've seen so many people get their Joy-Cons repaired, and when they get their Joy-Cons back in a couple of weeks, they just have Joy-Con drift again. I even know people who get the Joy-Cons repaired, and right after they take them out the box, pretty much they have Joy-Con drifting issues again, and it's frustrating to keep sending these back to Nintendo, getting new pairs and things like that. So honestly, I would recommend Nintendo to actually just flat out replace them or do some type of recall, because I think it's one of those scenarios where there's enough people out there that actually warrant some type of recall for the Joy-Con drifting issues. Let's just hope Nintendo actually fixes this issue when it comes to the upcoming Nintendo Switch revision and of course the Nintendo Switch Lite, because those are coming out relatively soon. And since those two items are coming out relatively soon, we want to make sure everybody has a great experience with the Nintendo Switch. But if your Joy-Cons start drifting, that is not a good thing. Same thing when it comes to the upcoming two new Joy-Con color sets, because they are releasing two new colors of the Joy-Cons, and let's hope the Joy-Con drifting issue is fixed on that product as well, because so many people are going to buy these things and it's going to be a hassle if they have to return all this stuff to Nintendo, especially the Nintendo Switch Lite. Since the Nintendo Switch Lite does not have removable Joy-Cons, what happens if your Joy-Cons on the Nintendo Switch Lite were to absolutely start drifting on you? Does that mean you have to send your whole unit back to Nintendo? That means you have to pay for it to get repaired, obviously. That also means you'll be without a Switch and things like that, and it does suck. You just can't take off the Joy-Cons when it comes to the Nintendo Switch Lite. Unlike the original Switch or the Switch revision that is coming out, it makes everything more simple. Sure, you do have to pay for expensive Joy-Cons, since Joy-Cons are so expensive. They're $70 to $80 depending on where you look. They're very expensive, but at least you do have peace of mind with the original Nintendo Switch and the upcoming Nintendo Switch revision. When you take off the Joy-Cons, you can just buy new Joy-Cons. You don't have to worry about sending them to Nintendo, waiting for your Joy-Cons to be repaired, being without controllers for your Nintendo Switch. So at least it has that going for the original Nintendo Switch, but the Nintendo Switch Lite is a whole nother ball game. So let's hope and pray Nintendo fixes this whole solution, because it looks like as the days grow longer and as time goes on, it looks like more people are actually experiencing Joy-Con drift when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, and overall this is not a good thing, since Nintendo has been on a roll recently. Nintendo sold around 30-something million Nintendo Switches. They are releasing the Nintendo Nintendo Switch revision with better battery life. They're also releasing the Nintendo Switch Lite, so it really does seem things are looking up for Nintendo, and Nintendo is on a hot streak right now. But with all these Joy-Con drifting issues a lot of people are experiencing, it is ruining the experience for a lot of people. So let's just hope Nintendo figures out a way to actually fix the solution. I don't think there is going to be a permanent fix for the Joy-Con drifting issue, because if you look at controllers in the past that do have some sort of analog stick, you may not be aware of this. There's no 100% way to actually fix drifting. Drifting is always going to be a thing as long as you have some type of analog stick, but at least it shouldn't be this widespread. I would say if only a couple people had it and they weren't really complaining about it, then it wouldn't be as big of an issue as it currently is. But the fact that so many people that own a Nintendo Switch have Joy-Con drifting issue, it's pretty much an epidemic, and I think it's time for Nintendo to do an official recall for the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. That's just my 2 cents on the whole situation. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.